What is good, all of our listeners and viewers? Welcome to another episode of Games and Groceries. My name is Adam.
And I'm Liz.
And I'm already feeling flu season. I mean allergy season. Woo! Yeah, boy. We are here with episode 90, where we're talking about how you ruined my childhood. You, the listener, and the viewer, ruined my childhood. But first, we got some segments. Some segments. Okay, so I meant to say it is I'm definitely feeling allergy season, and I feel it already.
Yeah.
Like it's coming soon.
We're getting more warm days than cold days.
No. I'm looking at our decorations that we were supposed to put on the mics.
I told you we should have done it the other day.
Oh no, I forgot. Okay, so we bought okay, Liz, how you doing?
I'm good.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
I don't know. I'm okay. My stomach hurts a little bit.
Well, that's because you're married to me, and
no, I think it's because I was drinking from my water bottle today, and then I noticed the spout of it was not the correct color it should be, and it really grossed me out when I cleaned it. So I think it kind of messed with my stomach a bit because I wasn't paying attention to when it needed to be cleaned.
So audio listeners, you're not going to be able to see this, but if you follow us on Instagram, by the way, social media plugs. Oh, you can follow us on Twitter, Game and Groceries, blah, blah, blah. But then you can follow us on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word. And you saw that we went to AC Moore for this end of sale thing. I'm really sorry, audio listeners, but definitely subscribe to us on YouTube. But we found these. They're little light up pineapples.
Yeah.
That we were going to put around the microphones for a little, kind of like a little decoration. Like, oh, they're pineapples and they light up. And I forgot to do that this week.
So we'll do it next week.
Yeah. But no, we're like, wow, that will look super cool. But if you see them next week on YouTube, they are pineapples.
Yeah.
That light up. And they're like little fairy lights.
Yeah.
So subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe, please.
Subscribe.
But yeah, so I'm definitely feeling allergies right now. It's a doozy.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it calling in the back of my throat.
That sounds weird.
Oh, Lord, kill me.
What?
Anyways, so before we get started with our first segment, we just remind everybody, this is serious. Follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Gaming Groceries or follow us individually. I'm at Ace the Grocer.
And I'm at Journey First.
And you can follow us there. Be friends with us there. But also follow us on Instagram. Games and Groceries all one word, where you can find out where we got these little light up pineapples. They're so cool. Anyways, but you can also follow us on Facebook. That Toxic Wasteland on Facebook. That's right. We're on there. You can also check out our website, gamesgroceries.com, where you can listen to all the episodes from the website, as well as find out where you can listen to the audio versions of the website where you don't see what the pineapples look like. And finally, if you're not yet, if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you know when all these episodes come out, as well as the videos that we produce every other Saturday, which a new one's going to come out this coming Saturday. It's going to be about how video games are like coffee and coffee shops, so definitely look forward to that. But with all that said and done, let's just go into our first segment,
Movie Minutes.
So real quick, before we go into our first segment, if we seem a bit off for the rest of the show, I took a pause right before we went to the first segment. I heard a car stop, and there was a dog that was hit.
Yeah.
Outside. That's why, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's why Liz is holding our dog, Floki. The dog seems okay, by the way.
They called someone, so
yeah,
it'll be getting help. But it was able to get across the street itself, barely,
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I really like animals, especially dogs, so I don't deal with it well.
And there was some person saying on the like slow
trying
down,
to stop people to slow down so that the dog could cross the street.
And guess
so
what?
that they could cross and get to it, and people were not listening.
Yeah.
So
like sometimes people.
Yeah.
But So, like I said, if we don't seem like that same energy, that's because we're helping a dog.
Our neighborhood's not having a good weekend.
No.
A lot of things happened yesterday. This is tonight. I'm really scared for tomorrow.
My God. So, yeah. This is actually kind of sad going into our movie minutes, which is movie minutes, by the way. Movie minutes is a segment that we go through the movies and we saw in the PAX.
This one is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. So we found this on Amazon Prime. It's called The Farewell. It is a movie that came out last year we wanted to see in theaters. It's made by A24, which is an independent studio. Liz, opening thoughts?
I really liked it. I really wanted to see this movie when it first came out, but because it was such a small indie film, the movies in our area didn't play it, so we didn't get a chance to see it because there's only one theater that was playing it. It wasn't for long, and we missed it. Things happened. But so when we saw it, we changed our original movie that we were going to watch. We're like, no, we're watching this because we both really wanted to see it. Mm-hmm. I really like the actress that plays Billy. She was
Billy, the main actor, main character.
She was the friend in Crazy Rich Asians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and she's done a bunch of other stuff. That's just the only one that I've seen, I think. But she's a great actress. It was just a really good movie. It had the right amount of comedy, the right amount of serious moments, and it was really good. And I did not mind having to read the whole movie. Yeah, because it's all in Chinese.
Like 80% of the film is in Chinese. Like sometimes they talk in English. But they're in China.
Yeah. So
yeah,
they're speaking Chinese.
Before you go into this movie, understand that it's mostly in Chinese. There is captions, so just to help you out. But and that goes in my first note is that this movie is a showcase of Chinese family dynamics. The whole movie is based off the quote unquote lie where the grandmother has stage 4 cancer, stage 3.
I don't remember if they mentioned the stage.
They mentioned the stage. It was pretty high. I probably
missed it. It
was either stage 3 or 4 lung cancer. Yeah. And the family said that, we can't tell her that she has cancer because it's not the cancer that kills people, it's the fear. Yeah. So they bear the burden for the grandmother. And the whole time, Billy is saying, shouldn't we tell our grandmother that she has cancer?
Because she moved to America when she was little, which I don't think we're ruining that much in saying that. But she moved to America when she was little, so she doesn't understand. Even though she's from China, she hasn't really been in that culture in so long. Yeah. She's been separate from her family, so she doesn't get why this is what they're doing.
So the Chinese families are trying to hide their emotions, but they all want to mourn the grandmother, and especially Billy, who is believing in Western culture. Yeah. And it's just kind of like this dynamic where, she's trying to protect her grandmother, but you have this Chinese family dynamic in it. It goes into my second note that every situation in this movie is incredibly relatable. In terms of you're with your family, there's comparisons, there's deep cuts. Yeah. When I say a situation, I mean in a situation of emotional standpoint, I want to say.
Yeah, even though this family is outside of our culture and from a different country, and I feel like no matter where you're from, you'll see your own family in this family. So
yeah, and that's the thing is that I love how the direction of this movie was that relatable. It didn't try to make too much of a joke of family situations, but at the same time, it was funny because it was true.
Life is funny. It's just, you gotta laugh at some stupid stuff.
And the grandmother was just
she was such a delight. Yeah. Not to say anything against my grandmas, but I wish she was my grandma.
Wow. But
I love my grandmothers, by the way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. She was so sweet to Billy, and that's why Billy...
they had a very close relationship.
But everybody in the entire movie is kind of reflecting on what they're kind of doing in their life. Should they have spent more time by the side of their loved ones? And Billy's really thinking about that, how... I really should be staying in China. I want to be there for my grandmother. What am I doing in America? And it kind of goes into my final note is that I think by the end of this film, and it's only an hour and 39 minutes.
It's not long. Unless you have to pee like I did.
Well, that.
Then it's forever.
But it's a strong message on how often you spend with your loved ones, with your family, with your friends, with anybody that you really love the most. And it really boils down to, are you spending enough time with your loved ones, or are you doing busy work, just getting these accomplishments?
Yeah.
And at the end of everything,
what's more important, your accomplishments or that you were happy?
Yeah, exactly. And, even Billy's struggle of like, I need to stay in China. The other family members where they're saying that I didn't cry at my mother's funeral. Like, you get to see all these people, like each character gets their time of saying how emotional they really are in certain situations. And they start to question, should I have been more emotional?
Yeah.
Did I just cut off my humanity?
Yeah.
In this, and I think this movie has a beautiful dynamic to it, and the direction of the movie was on point. Every single scene was worthwhile seeing, and I felt like it went in the length that it needed to go, and every single thing was utilized later on.
Yeah.
And I think this movie is absolutely gorgeous, both in the cinematography, the writing, the direction. I really love this movie. It was very sad. It was incredibly sad. It really kind of got to you because it was so relatable.
Yeah. Like, even if it's not your grandmother that you're close to, any family member, like if you imagined going through this, like even just thinking and talking about it now, like I just think like I still, like, my great grandmother died when I was 16, so I had a while with her. It was very different in my family because I knew a lot of people growing up didn't know their great grandparents, but my great grandmother, like, I still think about her, and there are times I still cry that she died, and this was over 10 years ago almost. So
yeah,
it's it's really interesting that like a movie can touch so many different things and be so relatable, even though it's not even in our language.
Yeah. Final ratings, final verdict. By the way, before we go into that, again, this is called The Farewell. You can find it on Prime Video.
Written and directed by Lulu Wang.
Yeah. What do you think? What was your final verdict?
10 out of 10.
Why is that?
For one, I literally can't find anything I didn't like about it. I loved this movie. Like I said, I said this last week on our movie, was that I like when movies have the right amount of comic relief at the right time. It's not forced, it's not awkward. Like, don't get me wrong, I love comedies, I love rom-coms, but when you have a movie that is serious but you have the perfect comic release, I know you were not jumping from this high, man. You were like 2 feet tall, you were not jumping from up here. Anyway. But when they have the right perfect timing of comic relief, and especially when it's in a family dynamic, it's just, that's like the perfect comedy to me. When it's family, like relatable family comedy, like perfect. So yeah, I just really enjoyed this movie. I felt it was really relatable. I felt it was really enjoyable. Yeah. Like this is like, it's because I think this is only like the second film I've seen that was almost entirely in subtitles. I once watched a French film. Yeah. In subtitles. Don't know why. I just did. So I don't know. I just felt really interesting.
I also gave it a 10 out of 10 because, like I said, the direction was always on point. I was never confused. There was nothing really in the scenes that I felt like this is unnecessary. This went on too long. I think it went in the direction exactly where the director was and the writer was envisioning. I could feel what they were trying to say to me. Everything about it, like I knew exactly what I was supposed to feel like. The cinematography was fantastic. The scenery was great. I think the set design was fantastic. The casting was perfect. Yeah, like beyond perfect. So I give this movie a 10 out of 10 for sure, just because I really felt for this movie more than I did for Peanut Butter Falcon, to be honest.
Yeah. But I honestly, after watching, I forgot we watched Peanut Butter Falcon last week until you said it. Yeah. That's because I have a bad memory, so. Dag.
So I think that can do it for this week. Again, the movie is called The Farewell. It's directed by Lulu Wang. It's on Prime Video. Both the standard and the 4K is up on Prime Video. Yeah. So if you have Amazon Prime, you should watch this film.
Check it out.
So with all that said and done, let's get out of the sad stuff. Do the best we can by going into our next segment.
Top 3 Gaming News.
Top 3 gaming news is the gaming news that we saw in the past week, and we'd like to rank it 3, 2, 1 just to give you a condensed version of what's going on in the games industry, because I said that last week. So, like I said, we are talking about the games industry. There's some news pieces that came out this past week, and we'd like to rank it 3, 2, 1. As per usual. So, let's go into our number 3 gaming news, and that is, oh boy, apparently EA canceled not 1, not 2, but yes, 3. The rule of 3. They have canceled 3 Star Wars games. That's right. Because good old Jason Schreier of Kotaku actually found out from different sources, and we can trust Jason because he is probably the most reliable source out there in the games industry besides Jeff Keighley, who we talked about last week. But this time, his sources say that there was a 3rd Star Wars game that was canceled last year that was supposed to come out this fall alongside of new consoles, the next generation. So we're going to read this quote from Jason's article. By the way, link down below if you want to read it yourself. But this is coming right after that we found out that the Star Wars game that was codenamed Ragtag was canceled, and the codename Orca was canceled. Ragtag was I believe Ragtag was the Visceral game designed by Visceral with Amy Hennig, and that got scrapped. Orca, I believe, was the open world Star Wars game that was kind of formed out of Ragtag, and then that was scrapped. So then it comes to this segment right here. It says EA Vancouver spent some time designing ideas and prototypes for codename Viking. And Criterion, by the way, if Criterion was the original creators behind Need for Speed, by the way, Criterion came aboard soon afterward. That was when the problem started. Although Criterion was, on paper, the lead studio, the logistical challenges of cross-country game development made that a difficult proposition. As one person involved in the game said, too many cooks was a running theme. Criterion leads had ambitious visions for the game, aiming to put a strong focus on the story and characters. So then, end of the story, you get to see that it failed. It got scrapped. They couldn't come up with a good solid idea. They couldn't come up with it in a year and a half. EA didn't want to push the deadline anymore, so they scrapped it. And they gave Need for Speed, the franchise, back to Criterion. What do you think, Liz?
I think this could be a good thing.
Okay.
And what I was thinking when you were talking about all the cancels, and that one cancel led to another one, that got canceled, and then that led to this one, and this got canceled. I think it could be a positive thing, because if you look at it, clearly they want to make a really good game.
Clearly.
So that means when they do put one out, you'll know it'll be good.
Well, apparently this got canceled either during the release of Jedi Fallen Order or just a little bit after Fallen Order. So I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I was thinking about that too. In fact, in my notes, I even thought of this. My big brain here. That I kept thinking that after the massive sales numbers of Jedi Fallen Order, I wonder if we're going to get as many canceled Star Wars games, because they're like, oh, Star Wars makes money? What? And so they're going to be like, yeah, we approve that. Let's go. Woo. Because even last week we talked about how Disney said like, it makes money. Why did you play with all of our IPs?
That's possible. So it could go one of two ways. They could just be like, all right, we'll just throw out a game out there.
Yeah.
No big deal. But it could, if it doesn't come out in the next year, I think anything after that, it should be good. If it comes out within a year after Disney saying that, then it's probably going to be bad. Don't buy it, in my opinion. if it comes out after that, that means they're still taking their time. They still want it to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I would trust that because clearly, as you can see, if they keep canceling them, they want something good.
Yeah.
They want a good, solid idea that it's just really a good product. So I would trust it as long as it doesn't come out a year after Disney announces they'll pay lots of money for them to do it.
Exactly. So, yeah, we'll see. This is kind of like, 3, 2, 1. You're stricken out baseball.
Is that a word?
Anyways, the number 2 gaming news. The number 2 gaming news is Animal Crossing.
Woo!
So, Animal Crossing. We have a picture over there, drawn by Joe Hogan, by the way. But Animal Crossing was shown off at a Nintendo Direct this past week. We watched it.
Yes.
I thought it was amazing.
Yes, I got super excited for it because I didn't know the theme of it was going to be like island. I really loved that we didn't have to live in that four house cubby that they had in the GameCube one because that's the only Animal Crossing I ever played.
Yeah,
that was that.
Yeah, I only played the GameCube one. I didn't play New Leaf.
Yeah,
or Pocket Camp.
Yeah, so as far as I've ever played, I didn't get to choose where my house went or what it looked like.
Yeah.
I love this.
And that's the thing. Oh, not only
part of it, but we'll, read your quote and then we'll talk more about it.
Not only can you move your house around, I want to. Okay, so this is coming off of The Verge, and they said top 11 things that we liked about, but this is the one that I was most excited for.
Yeah.
And I talked about this on the Instagram, Games Groceries on one word.
The Instagram.
On the gram. New Horizons will give you more control over nature than any of its predecessors. Not only can you pull weeds and chop down trees, you'll also be able to demolish cliffs.
Yes.
Create pathways across rivers.
Instead of having to walk all over.
I'm not done.
Okay.
Silence. And even build stairs and bridges. Like most other features. Are you silent? I can't. This won't be available right away. But it looks like it will give creative players, unlike myself, plenty more options for customizing their island. You may know.
Well, it's a good thing that we are forced to share an island because then you don't have to be the creative one.
Oh, yeah.
You can say, Lizzie, build me a ramp.
Well, okay, so this is my favorite and this is my least favorite at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it's my favorite because I get to build a waterfall. That's amazing. And I get to, design where the cliffs go. I get a ladder to climb up cliffs and I can build bridges. But here's the bad part, and they confirmed this. You could only play on one island per system.
But you can have 8 people on one island.
8 people on one island. And it's just like, that's great. Can I have my own island,
Talk about too many cooks in the kitchen.
Hey. But yeah, so sometimes I'll be on my island probably. Liz will want something done in this part.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want it. Maybe, or vice versa.
He could put a waterfall where I planned on moving my house.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just like...
I do like that you can buy properties around you so you can expand and so that they won't put any houses near you, though.
That's true.
I like that. I also did not like when they said and we'll update and we'll put in it once the tents are gone. We'll put in the buildings. I'm like, well, then it's not island life.
That's a town.
You're making the town that you had in the other games. Like that makes this not different at all.
I didn't like how it was through free updates and not through your own building.
Yeah, that's my thing.
So if you were to buy this game 2 years from now, you're not going to get the same experience.
They're doing a marketing scheme per se. They're making it sound great because they're saying, look, with the free updates, they're putting interface free updates.
Yeah.
Then they're telling you the bad thing. But they're making you think it's a good thing because they're saying it happy and putting bright colors on the screen and saying the word free.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I didn't like, but
yeah.
They also revealed, by the way, this just happened, I think, yesterday. Mm-hmm. They revealed that there's over 350 characters. Over 350 characters.
My goodness.
In the game. That's crazy. I want to know what's happening with the little gopher that if you turned off the GameCube and you didn't save, and it's like, hey, don't turn off the game.
Oh yeah.
But someone made a good point is that Animal Crossing will have autosave, so he won't really have. So it's weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, but
watching the video though made me want to play my game on my GameCube.
But that's the thing. I am super excited for it. Like, I'm excited for more ways to pay off the debt. Like, you can catch butterflies. It can go for...
Literally, you can do anything.
You can do anything, and it will pay off your debt. You can mold the island. Oh, moving your furniture.
Oh, yes.
You don't have to
actually use your character to push it.
You can actually just pick it up and put it where it's supposed to go. I love it. And ghosts. There's going to be ghosts in the game.
Yeah, I don't understand why that's a thing. I don't know why they're like, what we should put in this?
Ghosts.
Like, why? I mean, okay, but why?
But I'm super excited for it. Liz, I know you're super excited for it.
Yes, I'm very excited for it. I just wish I could have my own island.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want...
I play Sims. I like things very particular.
Yeah.
He's going to ruin it.
Well, I know that. But yeah, we pre-ordered it a couple weeks ago, so no shame. We pre-ordered it because the local game store that's by us, it said, hey, if you pre-order any game, it becomes $5 off. I'm like, oh.
And you get a coupon.
And you get a coupon. So
we like coupons.
So I pre-ordered Animal Crossing. But yeah, so if you haven't checked it out yet, the direct is pretty cool. It really convinced me that I'm going to love Animal Crossing. So wicked cool. Mm-hmm. Let's go into our number one gaming news is that Sony not only backs away from E3, but it but it backs away from PAX East, but not because they disagree, because of the coronavirus.
Yes, which we've actually talked about this in other gaming news in another episode, how the coronavirus has affected the games industry by possibly delaying.
I don't think I reported on that. That was kind of like an honorary mention.
Whatever, we talked about it.
Yeah. But
yeah.
So again, Sony cancels their presence. The coronavirus has been heavily affecting the games industry. So much more so as like there's possible delays to the next gen. Possible.
Yeah, possible. It's not confirmed, but why?
Because I love pressing the button, and I love pressing your buttons. But not only do they back out of PAX East, like they're not going to be there. They withdrawn their presence. Mm-hmm. They've also canceled the live demo for Last of Us Part 2.
Oh.
So people won't be... They were actually planning on...
They're 100% pulled out.
Yeah. Like they said, like, nope, coronavirus, it's deadly. Yeah. We're not going to go to Boston. Yeah. And then I said, what?
Well, I was going to say that, like, you were kind of confused at how that relates.
Yeah, because they're a Japanese company. The coronavirus is in China. Is it in Japan now? Because I know we got hit with New York and Tampa.
I don't know, but they are within the same continent.
Yeah.
So I think they're just worried about possibly bringing it over, possibly bringing it back.
That's true.
I think just bringing your entire part, like a big section of your company on a flight where one or the other could get corona, you could just carry the bug. I understand why they're just finding it a little too risky for everyone involved.
Yeah, and I also had a quote right here, and I'm just gonna...
And we don't know where it'll be by the time PAX East starts. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, I forgot I wanted to read this quote anyway.
Oops.
So this is from Sony themselves and why they decided to cancel. Today, Sony Interactive Entertainment made the decision to cancel its participation, good job, Adam, at PAX East in Boston this year due to increasing concerns releasing the also known as I'm not reading that novel coronavirus. We felt that this was the safest option as the situation is changing daily. We are disappointed to cancel our participation in the event, but the health and safety of our global workforce is our highest concern. So they are like, here's the other thing. an airplane is the fastest way to spread viruses. Mm-hmm. So I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
But it's still just, I don't know.
And you don't know if anyone from China might end up on that plane.
That's true.
Like, you just don't know. And with something as serious as the coronavirus, I understand. Because like I said, I mean, it's been going on for a while now. You don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah.
You don't know if the virus will be gone by the time PAX East happens. So.
Exactly. I mean.
So I 100% understand. It stinks, but I understand.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, they're concerned about the health and safety of their.
And you can't fight with that.
Yeah. But, yeah. So, unfortunately, we're not going to get that live demo. We're not going to get any gameplay of Last of Us Part 2. But you know what? Like what you said, at least, people are safe. Yeah. Like, oh no, we don't get to see a game that's going to come out in
but at least they
a couple
don't kill
months.
Like 1,000 people with a virus.
Yeah. So I don't have the biggest problem. I was just confused. Yeah. That's all. Like, I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, it's
it just
Boston.
Took you a while to kind of understand why.
Also, because I got the stupid. So
I wasn't gonna say that.
You weren't gonna say it, but you were thinking it.
You misunderstand biology a little bit.
I got the dumb. You having fun there?
You're an idiot.
See? So again, that was our top 3 gaming news. Again, going through it, EA canceled another Star Wars game in secret before it was even revealed. This was back in 2019. What are your thoughts? You can comment down below. Do you think that they'll ever cancel a Star Wars game after Jedi Fallen Order sold super well? Again, number 2, Animal Crossing, Nintendo Direct. What did you think? Did you see it? Are you going to pre-order it? Probably not, because you're not going to get same coupons as we did. But did you enjoy the Nintendo Direct? Are you excited for Animal Crossing? Write in comments down below if you're watching this on YouTube. And finally, Sony canceling their presence. Do you understand? Are you a little bit bummed that you're not going to see gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2? Write your comments down below about all these news stories. And if you want to read all about this, we have all the articles linked down below in the description, both the audio and the video version of the podcast. So I think this is a good time to go into our final segment. Every single week here on the Games and Groceries channel, we like to talk about, certain gaming topics in the gaming industry, whether it be about female gamers or game preservation. We like to talk about everything and all things here on the Games and Groceries podcast. Okay.
You had fun doing that?
Yeah, I did. But, so we talk about a certain topic every single week. We like to talk about it for a half hour or so, sometimes with guests. Maybe there'll be a guest in the coming future. I'm trying to fix my router, by the way. I'm so nervous in asking more guests on. I have so many people I need to reach out to. But if you've heard our past couple guest appearances, there's been this hiss, and I know for a fact that's my router, and I've been trying to change settings on it just so that the servers go through. But lo and behold, there was still hissing.
Yeah.
And I know it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but I wanted to make it the best audio quality I can make it. So, hopefully getting it fixed in the next week or so, and more guests are going to be on, including Dan from The Greatest Story Ever Played, a podcast.
I don't think that's confirmed.
It's confirmed.
No.
Because we're bros.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bros always go on other bros' shows. Bro.
Anyway,
yeah.
Let's move into our topic. I don't even think you told them what we're talking about.
So we are talking about the phrase "you ruined my childhood."
Yes.
And this isn't used a lot anymore. But it's definitely, we're not like going on trend or anything like that.
Definitely. Have you met us?
Well, yeah. But I was thinking about it not too long ago, especially coming out of the Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first moment where I felt like, that's my pen.
Oh my gosh, you are such an only child.
It's mine.
I'm telling your mom.
Fine, here.
Thank you.
Sharing is not caring. Where I felt like I was sitting in the theaters that this is just not what I wanted my childhood to be.
What did you do to that thing?
Yeah, my pen is back. You know what I mean? Like I sat in a theater and I just felt like this is really the end. This is all I've worked up to be.
The end ruined the whole movie.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Fight me on Twitter at Ace the Grocer. But that's the thing is that like that's the very first time I felt that way. And I wanted to talk about this. So when we talk about the phrase, you ruined my childhood, what do you think we actually mean when we say that?
I think it makes, to me at least, it means like they're making you view.
I broke it.
See what I mean?
Oopsies.
I said, what did you do to that thing? Because now pick it up because I want the dog to eat it.
Okay, continue.
That's not even a pen anymore. When I say like you ruined my childhood, it means like you made me think a different way about something from my childhood. Yeah. Like when you go back and watch a show, like when you go back and watch an old show or movie when you're little and you notice all the dirty jokes, like that you didn't notice when you were little. Not that in particular because that kind of makes me enjoy it a little more because it's funny.
Yeah.
That Disney did all that. Anyway, but just those things that make you think about it differently. Or just it doesn't even apply. And it's just like, why are we talking about this? Why does it matter? Why did I need to know that? Yeah. Just things like that. Like just kind of makes you look back and be like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Where it's just kind of like it makes you reflect, and I think people want to keep this bubble on their childhood where it's
definitely
sacred.
Yeah.
Those are my memories. Those are my best memories, especially if you were picked on in high school a lot, and you go back to your childhood days, and you're just like that is my childhood. Do not ruin it because that memory is sacred to me. I will treat it religiously. And I think that's what I think you hit the nail right in the head there, where it's just like saying that. And I want to talk a little bit more about that going forward. Is that you don't want to ruin your own childhood?
Yeah.
Now I already talked about my experience with Rise of Skywalker. Have you ever felt like that before? You don't seem like the type of person to have, like, oh, my childhood was ruined.
Yeah, I don't really have that a lot because I like learning those like weird things that I didn't know about when I was little. Like when I read, like if I ever see like articles about like Harry Potter or anything that I was interested in when I was younger or still am interested in, I like to learn those things.
Yeah.
Like I like to learn the meaning behind a scene, like even if it's something insane, like they're like, did you know this movie was based on this? And I'm like, no, I didn't know. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess I'm not really that type of person. I like to learn obscure facts that make me look at it different.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about the other dynamic? Now, this is I feel like it lessens the whole phrase, you ruined my childhood, but I think what you're talking about is exactly what it means. But what about when a company kind of milks that franchise for all it's worth?
Oh, that drives me crazy.
Yeah, did you ever feel like that before?
Yeah, mostly with basically what Disney's doing.
Yeah,
with Toy Story.
Yeah,
that's ruining my childhood to me. Like that's more of when I say it, it's ruining. It's like you're taking something that was just so pure and good. You could have just left it, and then you didn't. Yeah,
and that's it.
And that's ruining it to me because it's like you could have just kept it pure and amazing, and now you just want money because you can. And I love that my niece loves Toy Story.
Yeah.
But my child is not watching these new movies. It's not happening. They're going to end at 2, and they're not even going to know the others exist.
Wow. Now, talking about games, now Gears of War came out when I was in high school. That came out when I was a sophomore in high school. So I can't really say it was my childhood, but it was still a formative year to me.
Yeah.
In my sophomore year of high school. And the direction they're taking Gears of War for me is just kind of like, you're ruining what I loved. And I feel like exactly like that, where it just felt like you could have just stopped at 3. If you play Gears of War 3, it was an amazing ending. I loved it. It could have just ended there and just have it complete. But that's the thing, is that companies can be greedy. Companies can really build off your nostalgia and just say that, like, well, it's going to sell because remember your childhood?
Yeah. And I think another example from Disney is all these live actions.
Yeah.
They're taking my old movies that I loved, especially Aladdin. Like, you know what Aladdin means to me.
Yeah.
That was like my movie. I watched it with my dad. We loved that movie. Watched it all the time. And they're just making all these movies into live action because they can. And that's literally the only reason. They're like, oh, look, we can show all the special effects we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stupid. But yeah, it's those things that I'm just like, But yeah, like that feels more like ruining my childhood than the making me think of it different because I love that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. Before we move forward, we asked you guys on Twitter and Instagram, a little question from the topic that we're going to be talking about. And I'd like to read, our favorite comments that we have so far. And we have from at Commander Nikki. And I asked, what does it mean to ruin your childhood? And come on, computer. And she says, a bummer for me was that some things are not as huge as they've seemed when I was younger, which is what you were talking about. Turns out I've grown. I like what she says here.
Right.
Turns out I've grown. Not much, though, since I'm a little tiny bit over 5 foot, but it still made a difference on some things. You've grown in your mind, not your stature. Sorry, Nikki, I'm 6'7".
It's okay. I'm only 5'2"3/4", and you don't even look that short when you're in video or pictures. So
I love how you didn't correct me. But I never.
What did you say?
I said I was 6'7".
You're 6'1". Okay.
But I really. But she says But I never really, as far as I can remember, had a ruined childhood moment. As some clickbaity articles might suggest. I like what she said there. If anything at all, they maybe told me an interesting fact that as I now as an adult can appreciate, or it was a quick laugh or gasp that I'll never think of again. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree with this. Let me just scroll back up real quick. I like where she mentioned that it wasn't as big as you thought it was. Like, I remember when I was in college, I came back and I dug out the GameCube and everything, and I was like, I'm going to play Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't as amazing as I had remembered it being when I was little.
Hey.
I just come back from my very first semester of college. I was tired.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you got to give me the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Okay.
But it's things like that where it's like, you're like, oh, this was awesome. Like, we were trying to watch Even Stevens.
Oh, yeah.
On Disney Channel. We're like, we're going to watch Even Stevens. This is going to be fabulous. It's great. And we watch it. We're like, I'm so bored.
Yeah.
I was so bored watching that show.
Or even watching Kim Possible.
No, that's still amazing.
Well, like the continuity of Kim Possible sometimes, especially in the first season.
Oh, yeah. We're like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that I like what she says that, and I kind of agree with that. It's not that your childhood was ruined. Nothing about your childhood is ever ruined. It's just that
you just realized you watch stupid shows.
Well, yeah, like not even that, but you've grown.
Yeah.
You've grown as a person. And, and that's the thing. It might not be as big as you thought it was. What's this? Okay, don't get distracted by the trending tab. Don't get distracted. Stop it, Adam. But it's not as big as you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because you remember it in such light. It's almost like when you're playing video games, right? And you remember video games having like the most amazing graphics in the world. I still remember when I was a kid, and I might have shared this on the podcast before, where I remember sitting in my friend's basement. We were playing Mario Kart 64, and I just remember thinking, graphics are not going to be like this is where their peak is. Like they're not going to get.
They can't get any better than.
They can't get any better. And I just remember thinking that, like, wow, this is the future. This is where games are going to go. And now, if you put in an N64 game after playing like even a Plague Tale: Innocence, where the graphics are just amazing and gorgeous. And then you go back to Mario Kart 64 and they're all polygons.
I thought the graphics in Sims 2 for GameCube was amazing.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that like things change, things grow, but that doesn't change your memories.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is that like, let's say you are upset about the graphics in Mario Kart 64 and says like, oh, well, this ruins it. Like I can't go back to it. You know, by the way, if you say that about Mario Kart 64,
you're wrong.
I mean, Double Dash was better, but that doesn't change the points about those memories. Because nonetheless, you know, whether or not the graphics be great on Mario Kart 64, it doesn't change the fact of why I was in my friend's basement. We were all chilling, like we were all like really good friends. We were like reading like BMX magazines, and just really man, those are good days. Now I'm like reflecting back of like that day, those were good times. Those were good times. But it doesn't change the memories that you have attached to those games. It just changed the fact that the appreciation of that game, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense, because like you might not be playing it now. You might never want to play it again because it might not be as good as you remember.
Because you want to play Double Dash instead, which will never cease.
Yeah. But but yeah, you can still look back, and you might not, think of just the game, but you'll think of the whole day, the times you had playing it. Like when you were talking, I was remembering playing Sims 2 on GameCube with Elena, and it didn't just make me think of one time when we played it. It reminded me of any time me and her hung out, and still hang out. So it's a good reminder.
Oh yeah, it is, and I think it's I think it's a good thing to go back. Now again, going on to the nostalgia, I think that in terms of marketing a game, especially when you're doing a remaster or especially like the Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, nothing wrong with those remasters, by the way. But it's saying that nostalgia can be your best ally or your greatest foe.
Yes.
And
I agree.
What do you think about that?
No, I definitely agree with that, because it can be your best ally, because when you look at something that's remastered from your childhood like that, you could be like, it could just be amazing, just bring you back to your childhood, but like still have it be updated and nice. But it can also be a great show because you'll be hypercritical of those things. And I'm saying that from experience. Like when someone's redoing a show or something that I like, it better be good.
Yeah.
It better be phenomenal if you're going to make me come out and watch this. What was the one movie? It might have been Toy Story. I feel like it was something else though. That it was like.
What do you think?
What
was it about?
I don't remember.
Cartoon or live action?
I feel like it was live action. It was
here's another thing. What if they rebooted, which I think they are. I think there was in works. What if they rebooted Back to the Future? What would you think about that? Yeah. But, and I saw a picture of this. I saw a picture online, and it looks so cool.
This is like a blind side for me. He's like catching me off guard on here.
Wait. But, now this isn't true, but what if Tom Holland was Marty McFly and Robert Downey Jr. was the professor?
I don't know if Robert Downey Jr., I don't know if that's the right part for him.
No, Iron Man and Spider-Man.
I understand that, but that's you can't just do those things because like, it relates to something else. Like, no, especially not with Back to the Future. That's not a part for Robert Downey Jr. It's not how it works. Tom Holland would be an amazing Marty McFly.
Yeah, he would.
But Robert Downey Jr. is not a good Doc. No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it was Doc, not the professor.
Yeah, it was
You're
Doc.
right.
I know.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the movies multiple times. You saw it once. After I forced you.
Exposed.
This is why this means a lot to me, because like I love those movies, and I had been trying to get Adam to watch them since we were dating, and I didn't get him to watch them until we were married for like 2 years.
Exposed.
And I had to buy them to get him to watch them.
Oops.
So
find me on Twitter at
so we have
Grocer.
like an anniversary, like amazing edition of all three Back to the Futures.
Yeah.
So I really like this movie series. That'd be one of those things I'd be hypercritical of. It would need to be perfect.
Because that
like don't do these trashy movies that we're getting now. Don't give me a trash movie. This better be
like
on better point. Have like Harry Potter or Star Wars care on them.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like nostalgia in that sense can be the greatest enemy for your marketing.
But it could also,
But also flock to the theaters. I also want to read this comment from Volt Supreme, who commented on Instagram. Who says, the only thing I can think of is Ridley Scott director. He actually added Ridley Scott. Ruining the greatest alien movie of all time by directing Alien Covenant. All that mystery ruined. He could have and should have just added more mystery when something terrible is created it's hard to disconnect from something you love of the past, then maybe your childhood or something is ruined. And he's trying to say that, like, why couldn't you just leave it be, maybe add more mystery, and something terrible happens, and that kind of just defeats the entire franchise.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I haven't been playing a lot of Halo lately. I used to play Halo all the time. But since playing Halo 4, and especially the campaign in Halo 5, but mostly from Halo 4, it just kind of dipped me away from the franchise. And I'm just like,
And I think this kind of touches what I was going to say, but you interrupted me.
Well, I always interrupt you.
I know, because you're an only child.
Yeah.
And I'm a middle child, so I just let you.
Yeah.
But what I was saying before was that there was some movie, and you might remember when I say this, but I remember I had said, like, I don't care that there are children here. This movie's not for them. It is for us. It might have
Incredibles 2.
Yeah, that's not what I said. I don't think that was one. I feel like it might have been Toy Story, but I feel like it was live action.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I remember saying, like, this isn't for them. It is for me. Mm-hmm. Like, it is for us. It is not for these tiny children.
Yeah.
Go away.
Because it's from our childhood.
Yeah, it was something like from our childhood, and it was an update, which is why I'm thinking it was Toy Story. But I feel like that was too long ago.
You know what we haven't touched at all? We haven't touched the Lion King Aladdin remaster for PS4. It's sitting there on our...
I know. I look at it, I'm like, oh, I should play that. But then I'd have to put it in the PlayStation, and I'd have to upload it.
I'll update it on my day off.
And then I play it first.
Yeah. You can play it first. Well, it was your Christmas present.
It was my Christmas present. And that was another Aladdin thing from my childhood. I had Aladdin for the Sega Genesis.
And you have a lot of connections to that certain game.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that was the first time your mom like actually like played a video game and really loved it.
I just remember this. I tell a story all the time. I think my mom, this is one of the things my mom denies. But I came home from school one day. Mm-hmm. And so in my house, we had a finished basement. That was our playroom. That was where we had our TV, all of our toys. Mm-hmm. It's where we hung out. I came home from school. My mom was in the basement playing Aladdin on the Genesis. And I just thought it was the funniest thing because I was so out of my mom's character. And my mom loved this game because it was very technical. My mom loves to have those like more things that it affects the way her brain works. Mm-hmm. Like she used to sit there and she would play solitaire with her hand behind her back, her hand on the mouse, and she'd sit there and play solitaire on the computer. Like that's how she played. She played Sims like that too, I think. I don't remember. But anything that involved her, like it was total focus. So that's like a funny memory of my mom to me. And so, yeah, this Aladdin game was huge in my house for a while. It was a staple in our house. So.
And on the Genesis.
On the Genesis. Like, it was an old system.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really excited to play this. I never played the Lion King game.
Which
I don't know anything about that. But the Aladdin one is like...
The supreme.
Yeah, it's like...
And that's the thing is that, like... It doesn't matter what happens to the Aladdin franchise. Well, like, I'm talking about the game franchise. Like, what if they really remastered it and made it a 3D model? Like, it doesn't disconnect from your memories about the game. That memory that linked you to that game. Because I don't think the game is the dividing factor for that memory happening. Yeah. I think it's just, that key memory. It's almost like your sense of smell where... Yeah.
Like, I remember the first, 3 obstacles of that game. I remember you had to walk across fire, you had to climb up a ladder, and then you had to climb, and then you go here, and then you climb. Yeah. Because you're running from the guys with the machetes.
Yeah, machetes?
Whatever they are.
The Centaur? Wait. Oh, no. Now I can't even think of it.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of them, so I just... Big long machetes. They turn, and then there's another turn, and it's... I could draw it.
You call them machetes.
Whatever.
But then again, I can't think of a name, so I can't really, dip on you.
Whatever.
So, but yeah, I think kind of wrapping up our conversation here, just because game designers or people want to make remasters of certain games, I don't think that discredits any of the memories that you have in your childhood, in your teenage years, in your high school days. Like for me, me and my best friend, I'm gonna drop his name. What up, John? How you doing?
Yeah, because that's such a descriptive name.
John. But like John is my oldest friend. He's my oldest friend. And there have been so many days after high school where we got home, like we got to his house. His house is my second home. And we played Midnight Club every single day. And
you guys did that in college too, and then I had to sit there and watch.
Oh yeah, too. Yeah, Midnight Club.
My boyfriend comes home from college, and I spend it in his friend's basement watching them play video games.
Midnight Club and Halo 2 was our go-to games.
Yep.
Midnight Club. And that's the thing. Nothing's really happened with the Midnight Club series. I think they like really run it down into the drain. But that doesn't discredit our memories with Midnight Club
not.
ever. In fact, I still have it right there. The PlayStation 2 version. I still have it. I see it right there. And it doesn't discredit. You know, it doesn't matter what happens to that game. Doesn't matter if I enjoy it today. It doesn't discredit for what memories we had back in high school. And I love those memories we had where we were just popping sushi and playing Midnight Club. His house was a Chinese home, so his mom always made us sushi when we got home. And we played Midnight Club. Oh, it was the best.
Or they were eating pizza.
Or we were eating. Oh, okay. One last memory before we disclose this. Because we were so awesome in high school, we got like all this Pizza Hut, so much that we each had a medium-sized pizza, a Pizzone, a little dish of pasta, and a 2-liter soda, and we downed those.
It's amazing that John was as small as he was in high school.
Yeah, I was fairly skinny in high school. I didn't gain weight until college.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And like he used to down like 10 Whopper Juniors after high school.
Y'all are disgusting.
Yeah, we were.
And why you had Pizza Hut before you dated me? When we dated, you guys made me eat Papa John's.
Papa John's. Better pizza, better ingredients. By the way, watch the Papa John interview on H3 Podcast. That was an amazing interview. It was really eye-opening. But that, you know, enough plugging another podcast. You know, listen to more of our podcasts. But yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the thing I will kind of want to end on is that I have so many memories that are connected to video games and connected to my friendships through video games. Mm-hmm. You're connected to a lot of memories through video games and movies, and all these childhood memories are not discredited because you may not enjoy a video game anymore or enjoy a certain movie anymore. Nothing is discredited. And I think you should cherish those memories. You should, if you don't enjoy the game, look back on that game and say, man, if it wasn't for this game, I probably wouldn't have made this friend. I'm thinking about making a video about how The Division, it kind of saved my life and through a friendship through The Division. It's probably going to be another video down the line. But yeah, I don't think that a game can ever ruin your childhood because those memories will always be cherished in your life.
Yeah.
Any other closing thoughts?
Please don't remake and ruin Back to the Future.
Yes. But Tom Holland would be a good Marty.
He would be an amazing Marty McFly. I'm not denying that. And that kind of makes me want them to make it.
Mm-hmm.
But they need, like I said, it better be perfect. Otherwise, don't do it.
Yeah. And if John is listening to this, I'm going to test him to see if he actually listens to the podcast. He says he does. John, if you listen to this, what's something that
Make like a code word.
Yeah. Okay. Code word. I'm going to give Adam $100 tomorrow.
Or no. So John, if you're listening / watching this, text Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
What is your favorite memory with us? What's your favorite memory with us?
I gotta get all sappy.
Yeah, I am going to get sappy because I have so many memories with John and I've shared with him.
Should I turn the camera back on?
No, we'll end it there.
Sorry, guys.
So we thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Thank you, John, for listening to this week's podcast. Let's see if he's actually listening to this. We thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Twitter, at Gaming Groceries. I'm at Ace the Grocer.
And I'm at Journey First.
So that's the best way you can reach us, quite honestly. And we hope you all have a safe week. Have a great week.
Bye.